What's going on, guys? Here I have a 2018 Maserati Ghibli, and today I'm going to show you how to change the battery. It's a pretty simple and easy process. There's a little bit more wires than a traditional car, but don't let that scare you. It's really simple. So the first thing you want to do is make sure the car is unlocked, because the alarm will go off even if it has just a little bit of battery. Pump the trunk, and the battery is actually located in the trunk here. Let me go ahead and show you that from the beginning. All right, first step, open up the trunk. Make sure you remove any liners, anything like that, and you'll notice there's a handle right here. Simply lift that. There's a little clip here which secures onto the top of the car so it stays up when you are working on the battery. Go ahead, lift up this fabric lid, and your battery is exposed right here. The tools you will need are a Phillips screwdriver, slotted / flathead screwdriver, a 13mm socket, 10mm socket extension for the 10mm, and your socket wrench. So here's the battery. Positive leads over here. Simply peel this up and it exposes the positive leads. Go ahead and leave that on for now, since we're going to be messing with the negative first. And just undo this one bolt here, and that should loosen up the negative. All right, so once the negative terminal is loosened, we can pull up on the connector and it will pop right out. If it's on here for a few years, it just will be tight. You can use a flathead screwdriver and kind of pry it up. To release this connector here, we simply just push this gray clip in, and that piece should just slide right off. I'm going to go ahead, tuck it down here so we have room to work on other things. Now we push these two in. That undoes the cap for the positive side of the battery. Go ahead and take off these two Phillips screws, because this retaining clip clips into the battery to make sure all these connections stay tight onto the battery. So those two are removed. Go ahead, grab your flathead screwdriver and pry up on this red retaining clip. If you pay attention right here, you'll see it's locked into place over here. Make sure it's out. And you don't want to break this clip, because we are going to reuse it. Now we disconnect the battery with this 10mm socket. Once that bolt is loose enough, we can remove this whole entire assembly. Pull straight up, and that will come disconnected. Now, to get some extra room in the car, I'm going to remove this 13mm bolt. Pull this cable up. That will disconnect. I'm going to just push that cable off to the side. And now that we have all of our battery connections disconnected, we can go ahead and remove the battery. First thing we're going to do to remove it is we have to undo the strap located over here. And you'll notice, well, you got to push this in and it will free up the strap. So the strap is located here. This hooks onto the car like so, and it just holds the battery into place. If you push this in, it allows the strap to travel freely. So now you'll notice the strap is completely loosened on the battery. There's one more thing we have to remove. Located right here, there is another 10mm bolt, and that bracket is holding the battery down. So we're going to grab our extension with our 10mm socket and remove that. Go ahead, remove that bolt as well as the bracket. Now the battery is completely free from the car. We can undo this drain hose Grab our flathead screwdriver and pry away from it. And that is in case the battery does need to drain. There's a drain hose. And again, grab the battery handles and we can pull up firmly to take the battery out. Now this battery is extremely heavy. Here's a look at the battery. I'll put any specifications I have in the description. That is a look at the battery. Also, if you can't find this battery, usually the Maserati dealer will have it. But a lot of times these things are hard to find generics because they don't want to list the parts out there on the internet. So as long as you have the cold cranking amps match and the power match, it should work. Here's the size of the battery. 13.75 is the width. 13.75 again. The height of the battery is 7.5, and the depth of the battery here coming in at 6 3/4, 6.75 for the depth. So if you can find a battery with the same cold cranking amps and the same dimensions, theoretically it should work in this car, and you could just use that. So now I'm going to teach you guys how to reinstall the battery. Pretty simple process. We just do everything in repeat. Make sure you don't forget the bracket, the drain hose, the strap, and again those terminal connections. Let's go ahead and put this battery in the car and reinstall it. Picking up the battery is the hardest part on this reinstall. So make sure there's nothing lingering down there on the bottom of the car. We don't want any screws making a rattling noise. And then go ahead and reinstall your battery. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is plug in the drain tube. Located right here. All right, go ahead and then push the battery towards the back or the forward front of the car, because we are going to reinstall that metal bracket located down there. Make sure your battery is pushed up tight against the right side here. All right, grab that bracket. Make sure it's in this position. See our bracket is there. Grab our 10mm bolt and bolt it down. All right, now we're going to strap in our battery. Okay, so to strap in the battery, we're going to grab this hook, and you see this part where it can hook. Right there in that metal section is what we're going to hook this thing onto. Right there, it's hooked onto that. We have the rest of the strap. We're simply going to pull on the strap and then go ahead and just tuck the rest of the strap into the side there. Now let's go ahead and put those connections back on. All right, so I'm going to start off with the positive terminals first. Go ahead and grab that big harness and simply going to put it onto the car like so. Push it down, make sure it's nice and snug. Go ahead, reuse that bracket. And screw down those 2 Phillips screws again. All right, so make sure that is snug. And then remember, there was that extra piece. All right, to prevent any shorts, I'm going to go ahead and just cap this off already because we're done with it. And now let's go ahead and work on those negative terminals. that one is snug there. Go ahead and re-grab this wiring harness here. Slip it right on top. And once it clicks into place, it is locked in. And automatically I've noticed the lights are coming on this car. Let's go ahead and start it up. All right, so the car is functional now, and you'll notice we get a couple of errors here. Let the car go ahead and run for a few minutes, and most of those errors should come off. All right, guys, so after I've reinstalled the battery and turned the car on, at first there'll be a few errors on the dashboard. That is completely normal, and as you can see on my dash, the errors are completely gone. So the first one I'm going to address is the parking brake, and we want to basically just engage the parking brake and then disengage the parking brake. That will clear up that parking error that's going to show up in the bottom right corner. Left corner, parking power steering reset. Basically cut the wheel all the way to the right, cut the wheel all the way to the left, and that will reset that power steering light. We're gonna press all the windows down. Just let it auto function all the way down. Once it is all the way down, press it, pull it up once, and they will all come up. It's gonna reset all the windows. And that's basically it. Those are the only errors that came on my dash. I've read a bunch of forums. Everybody just says, wait a few minutes, all of them will go away, take the car out for a spin. The errors will clear up on their own. So again, super easy to change the battery. You don't need to pay the Maserati dealer for it. If you guys did find the video helpful, please leave me a big thumbs up, guys. I really appreciate it. I only ask you subscribe to my channel. That really motivates me to make these videos. Leave any questions down below if you guys do have any errors. What do you guys think? Is it worth it to do this yourself, or pay Maserati, ask them to just do it? Subscribe to my channel for more car videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.